The purpose for this tutorial today is to demonstrate how to incorporate movable whiteboard objects into your Class Connects. This is just another great way to engage students. We know we have a variety of tools that we can use, whether it be the polling features, the emoticons, responding in the chat box, the microphone, whiteboard tools. We have a variety of ways to engage your students, but this is just another one that I'd like to share with you. So there are 6 simple steps that you need to follow in order to do this. The first is you would go ahead and place the object on your whiteboard screen. You can add text to it. Then you use the select tool to highlight both the object and the text. You right click and then you choose group objects, and then the object and the text will move together. Okay, so let me demonstrate this for you. I put together some really simple basic tasks in order to be able to demonstrate this for you. This first task is where students are being presented with a group of objects and they need to count the objects in the picture and then match them with the correct number. And so on this next screen here, I have created some movable boxes here with numbers in them. Okay, you see they're movable. The number moves with the box itself. And so in order to create these movable boxes, you follow those 6 steps. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my object on the whiteboard here. And then I'm going to add my text, and this would be the number 4. I want to make that a little bit larger. And that's still not really as large as I'd like it. Okay, and I want to move that 4 up just a bit. All right, and so now, right now, see the box and the 4 are independent of each other, but we want to make them one object. And so in order to do that, you go ahead and use the select tool over here on the left-hand side. Click on that, and then select this entire region. Then you right-click, go to Group Objects, and now they move as one. Okay, going to go ahead and do the same thing for a number 5 box. Add the number 5. And I just want to move that 5 down a bit. All right, now I'm going to choose the select tool and highlight this entire region. Right click, go to Group Objects, and now it's movable. And so the way that you could actually use this within a Class Connect, once you have this set up, I would go ahead and right click on this number 1. I'd copy and go back to the previous screen. I'd paste it, and then I'd ask a student to go ahead and match this with the corresponding picture. And so the student would have whiteboard privileges, and they use the select tool to go ahead and move this to the appropriate picture. All right, do the same thing. Go ahead and copy the 2. Right click and paste it on the screen, and they can go ahead and move it to the appropriate picture. So that's just another way to engage students. On this particular screen, you have a student who is working on numbers, tallies, and the number word associated with that particular number. And so I've created these movable boxes. And so what the student could do is they can go ahead and include the tally mark, and then they can choose the correct word that corresponds with that number and tally mark. Tally marks, and move the word that corresponds there. And so again, in order to create these word boxes, place your object on the screen, then include your text. So this one would be 3, and that's a little bit larger than I want for this particular screen. Okay, so now I'm going to use my select tool to go ahead and select this entire region. Right click, Group Objects, and now it is movable. Oops. Okay, and so this is just another way to incorporate movable objects. If you have some younger students whose typing skills are not the greatest and you want them to work on some sentence structure, you could include these word boxes on a whiteboard screen and have them manipulate them to form a nicely structured sentence. And so the student would have whiteboard privileges and they'd use the select tool to go ahead and move these words around. Okay, and then they can add their period at the end. And again, you just create those movable word boxes by following those 6 steps. This one's a little bit different. With this particular whiteboard screen, we have some pull tabs here to reveal answers. And so on the left-hand side, we're working on fact and opinion, and on the right-hand side, we're working on fractions. And I just set this screen up this way to demonstrate a couple of different subject areas that you could use it in. Obviously, you would focus on the same skill if you were using it in your Class Connect. But so on the left-hand side, fact and opinion, my favorite type of music is jazz. You ask the students, is that a fact or an opinion? A student says opinion, and then you give them the whiteboard privilege to select, and they pull the tab out and see that they were correct. Country is a type of music. I do believe that's a fact. Let's pull the tab out and check, and it is correct. So in order to set this whiteboard screen up, you would go ahead and use your text feature to type whatever text you wanted to appear on top here. So let's say mushroom is the best topping for pizza. Okay, and then what you do is if you pull out your tab, go ahead and insert the text here. You want this to say opinion. Okay, and so here is what you have to do in order to make the text move with the object itself. Is you have to go ahead and choose, let me get that lined up, centered. Go ahead and use your select tool to highlight, right click, go to group objects, and so now it moves as one, but what you'll see is it's going over top and we want it to go underneath. And so what you do is right click and choose move to back, and now it will go behind or underneath of the text that appears on top. Okay, on the right-hand side, the object is to determine if this fraction is in lowest terms. 3/4. 3/4 is in lowest terms, yes. 2/8, class does not believe that 2/8 is in lowest terms, and they are correct. And so again, in order to set this up, you would add your text here. Since I'm working with fractions, I'm going to go ahead and underline that top number. Let's see, I'm going to say 7/21. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and choose this tab, and the text would be no, this is not in lowest terms. Okay, now I need to make sure that the text and the object are all one, so I am highlighting, right-clicking, group objects. Now they move together, but they're moving on top. I want it to move underneath, so I right-click and choose move to back, and now I can move it behind. And so this is something that might take a little time to set up before class, but if it's a skill that your students are needing a lot of review and practice on, you could get it set up once, and then you just have to manipulate it a little bit each time you use it. And finally, this is these are actually candy jars or cookie jars, however you want to see them. I'm seeing them as candy jars today. And the object of this task is to differentiate between odd and even numbers. And so what I'm doing here is I am adding gumballs, changing the color. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm adding my objects. Alrighty, and let's see, how about one more? Oops. Okay, so let me move this one up a little bit. All right, so now I need to go ahead and add numbers. I left off, I have 6, now I need 7. And let's make that a little bit bigger. I'll make this one 8, 9, and 10. And again, I want to try and center those numbers a little bit better. Okay, and so now for 7, 8, 9, and 10, I need to use my select tool to make sure that the number is grouped with the object. Okay, so I chose my select tool, and I'm going to oops, it's not letting me, hold on. Choose my select tool, and then I'm going to highlight. No, it's not letting me. Use my select tool to highlight this region. Sorry guys, there we go. And right click, group objects. Okay, now I just need to do 9 and 10. Oops. It's being finicky. Sorry guys. It's not usually like this. Try one more time. Okay, I don't know why it's there. Nope, I don't know why it's not cooperating right now. But you need to go through the same steps of selecting the object. There we go, there's 10. Right click, group objects, and then I'll try one more time for number 9, see if it works. There we go. Okay, right click, group objects, and now these are all movable. Okay, so the student would see that we've labeled this jar as odd, and then we can label this jar as even. I'm going to make my font a little larger. And now we can go ahead and have them sort the candy. And so you can go ahead and move all the odd gumballs to the odd jar and move the even gumballs to the even jar. Okay. There you go. So as you can see, this probably does take a little bit more time to set up, but like I said, if you set this up for a skill that students are going to need a lot of review and practice on, or just, once you set up the template itself, you can manipulate it in a variety of ways and just save it as a whiteboard file. This is something obviously that has to be created within Blackboard Collaborate. Save it as a whiteboard file and reload it to Blackboard whenever you need to make changes. So if you have any questions, just give me a holler. Thanks so much.